Some things are taught, others are caught, some others are fought for. So this episode is something that was caught. It came from something not so related to parenting per se. It happened around some minutes past 4 a.m. I couldn't sleep. I had to come down and, well, do some things that I would not bother you with. But then something happened that got me thinking about something we'll discuss today. The Walking Dead. I don't like zombie movies. Nah, I don't do them. They scare me. I like Sarah Jakes Roberts said, I feel like they open up a portal that I don't even know what will come out of it or where it will lead me. I don't want to feed my fear, so I don't expose my mind to certain things. I feel like, what if I start imagining? I'm very, very creative. I'm very, very imaginative. If I start imagining these things around me, I mean, why they were just a figment of someone's imagination. So I don't bother at all. So I'll not start carrying myself to where I don't know. But let's come back. The Walking Dead. I thought about it. And then, of course, trust me to unpack. I went on, asked some questions, and what I learned gave me the courage to do this, to talk to you about it. And there are some episodes that I know for sure are going to help you. There are some episodes I am very, very certain. There are some episodes I'm very, very certain will speak volume to you. And this is why we'll be talking today about The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead. No, not the zombies. The title is meant to really get you thinking. The Walking Dead. How can somebody be dead and be walking? Oxymoron, right? We are juxtaposing two seemingly contradictory words. Parents and spouses in emotional limbo. Limbo. What's an emotional limbo? But before we get there, let's talk about this. I'm looking at this topic from three perspectives. One from the point of view of living below your potential as a parent or a spouse, as a person who is married. And the other one is from, yes, the emotional limbo. The third aspect will be of children who are stuck in toxic homes. But today we'll be talking mostly about the first two, and then we'll leave the last one for a separate conversation on its own, because I feel like, oh my God, there's so much to talk about on that one. Let's dive right in, shall we? Living below your potential. What does that mean? I am married, I am ambitious, I have dreams, but then I get married and for whatever reasons, I am not able to be that person I've been dreaming I want to be. Probably because I had children early. I couldn't go to school. Funny enough, I was caught in that trap too. I always wanted to design fashion. I always, of course, I have this penchant for pairing colors. I feel like fabrics speak to me. I walk into a fabric store and this one goes, speak me, and that one goes, I can pair better. It's insane, right? I know. But then I had my little girl, and how could I go learning when I wanted to be present? You see, this journey towards the Lorry brand, the becoming of the Lorry brand, would be a story I'll have to tell on another day, maybe on a different platform. I couldn't pursue that dream because it would have meant me leaving my little girl and going maybe to learn, and that was not part of our parenting plan. We had a plan. A lot of people are caught in there. Oh, glory be to God that life happened and here we are today. I'm doing this. I'm finally doing this against a lot of odds, I must say. Some people are not should I say lucky or privileged to get around to finally finding purpose and doing that thing they actually wanted, that was burning in their heart, that they were called to do. They live below their potential and then they loathe their spouses. No. I love you, but I hate that because I am with you, I cannot do what I want to do. Does that make sense? I know it does. I love you so much, but at the same time, I despise you because I am with you. I cannot be a governor, a teacher, a lecturer, whatever it is. I cannot be in the military because of security reasons. I cannot be in the public purview because I don't want people to maybe know our business. That is what living below potential is. What are the things that lead to people feeling like they are stuck, feeling loathsome in their marriages? The first one on this list is sacrificing personal dreams to meet the needs of the family or to meet the needs of their spouse. Probably you're married and you have, for those of us Bacons raising special needs children, you cannot go to work because your child demands your attention. Your husband or your wife has medical challenges that require you to be at home. Some of it, maybe it's even your parent-in-law that's staying with you because they have some medical issues that you need to take care of. You're sacrificing, doing what you want to do, doing what you love for that reason, for taking care of the family's needs or some medical issues or anything in between. The next one is the fear of judgment. Some of us, there was a point in my life where I was afraid of success. I couldn't dare because I'm like, what if I lose my family because I'm successful? What if I lose my marriage? What if I lose my friends? What if I lose myself? But then I realized that the mountain was me. I had to fix that limiting thought because it was preventing me from going after what I knew I could do well. So for some people, it's the fear of failure. But in this case, let's talk about the fear of judgment. You don't want to be judged or perceived in a certain way, you see, because you are now a person of impact. You have so much influence that people are scared of your power. You are scared of what they will think. What if they think I am a certain way because I am now the Chief Justice? What if they think I am a certain way because I am this? You are limited or constrained from doing what you want to do because of the fear of judgment. The next one is emotional burnout. You are so overwhelmed from taking care of a family that you cannot even go after your dreams. You have signed up for that course, but because your child needs your attention, your husband needs your attention, the family needs your attention, you cannot go for it. You are perpetually working. For some people, they don't even have helps. So they are caught between doing chores, running. Let's not talk about running businesses really, because that can also be a thing. You are doing a business because you don't have time yet to do something else. And then you're burning out, or you are doing a 9 to 5 when you would rather run your own business. And then you are so burned out there that you don't have time to even develop yourself enough for that next phase that you want. So when you're living below your potential, you can actually be a walking dead in your home. The next one is emotional limbo. I'm just going to read to you precisely from my notes. Emotional limbo refers to a condition characterized by a persistent state of emotional detachment, uncertainty, and stagnation. It occurs when individuals in relationships or family dynamics experience a significant disconnect from their emotional needs and desires, leading to a sense of being trapped in a stagnant and unfulfilling situation. You feel trapped in a circle of emotional disconnection and inertia, unable to move forward to find fulfillment in your relationship or family life. It reflects a condition where both parties may be physically present but emotionally absent, leading to a profound sense of stagnation and dissatisfaction. You are there, but yet you're not. I'm just going to stay because I'll be judged if I walk away. I'm just going to stay because of my children. I'm just going to stay because who will pay my bills if I walk away? Walking dead. You died long ago, but no one noticed. You died a long time ago, but you are just occupying space in the home because you just cannot leave. Not because you enjoy being there, but because I have to be there. I have to be there. This state of emotional limbo is marked by, number one, lack of emotional engagement. You get married, you're all lovey-dovey, and then the honeymoon phase wears away. You're so busy with work that you are no longer emotionally present for your spouse. You see a lot of couples make the mistake of believing, especially, let me not point fingers, but I think some men, okay, let's do it this way. Some men get so busy with providing for their families that they don't have time to love upon their wives or even their children. Some women get so busy looking after their children that they don't have time for their marriages anymore. And then when the children are out of the house, you are left with chaff because you did not nurture your relationship. You do not have anything left to give of it or to take out of it. I see every relationship as a box. The more you pour into it, the more you have. If you stop pouring in and keep taking out of it, one day to get empty. So if you're not emotionally engaging with each other, you're not having conversations, you're not supportive of each other, you're not having time to just be together, do the things that you love and enjoy together, and then one day you'll find yourself in an emotional limbo. The next one is unresolved conflict. You have a tradition of sweeping things under the carpet. One day the carpet will get so swollen that you trip on it and fall down. You must be able to address your conflict. You must be able to talk about those difficult conversations. You see, there's a book with such title, Difficult Conversations. You see, most people don't read. And as I know they like to read. You know me, and I don't enjoy reading. They wear it as a badge of honor. You're doing yourself so much disservice if you do not read. Because the solution to that problem, that conflict you're having right now, may just be in a chapter of a book. Imagine if your marriage could be saved by just one chapter of a book, or by just one book that is 385 or 25 pages long. You don't have to read everything in one day. Rather, you can pace yourself 10 pages a day, and at the end of 30 days, you'd be done, if not almost done. Those unresolved conflicts are piling up, and one day you'll find that they will sweep you into that limbo, a place where you do not want to find yourself. The next one is routine or monotony, or should I say complacency. A teacher of mine told us a story about some kids whose mom wanted to surprise them. Girls, you need to know, you need to see where we are going to today. Oh my God, you'll be surprised. The child cuts her through halfway and says, "Is it not always pizza we're going to buy? It's not going to be any different." What was exciting initially has now become something loathsome because it has now become monotonous. Spruce things up. Don't be so used to doing things a certain way that even when the zeitgeist has changed, even when what I love or prefer has changed, you do not even notice. You see, you must be present enough to know that, okay, that I bought her a red pair of shoes last week or on her last birthday does not mean that I should repeat the same present on this one. Her needs may have changed. Her tastes or desires or wants may have evolved. You need to be present. You need to be in communication to be able to know this. Another one is the fear of change. You don't want to blaze any trail. You don't want to go out of the cast or molds you are now so used to. You don't want to leave the comfort zone because of the fear of the unknown. You don't know what's on the other side, so you are just there. But if I try to give her a hug and she snaps me, but if I make the first move and she ignores me, you are so used to a certain way of behaving that you are afraid of what change might do. Next one is internal conflict. I will be conflicted if I set goals for myself and at the end of the day I've not been able to achieve them. If that happens for a week, another week, and yet another week, you see, I'll have this internal conflict, and if possible, I'll start feeling of myself as a failure. Now, when I'm having such internal conflict, that probably has little or nothing absolutely to do with you. It may become a problem for us both when I do not deal with it. When I do not even, especially when I do not communicate it to you, I don't tell you that, okay, I am going through so and so challenge and I just want to take it. I want to chest it by myself. Sometimes the things we want to chest can end up causing us cardiac arrest. The next one is societal or cultural pressure rather. I want to wear ankle bracelets. I love them so much. Toe rings look so beautiful. But what would the world say? What would society say? What would the body of Christ say? I love dreadlocks a lot. But would that make me look decent? I love to wear ripped jeans or maybe very dark colors. I prefer to look a certain way, but I'm afraid of expressing that innate desire to be, to do, to have, because I am afraid of what the society will think of me. Married women are meant to dress a certain way, they'll say, but I love to be a rebel. I am not allowing myself to adequately express everything I am and what I stand for because I am afraid that I will be labeled a rebel or a nonconformist. Sometimes societal pressure is why some people would have fallen out of love for many different reasons, and then they'll still be there stuck in that stagnant water. Then all the mosquitoes and everything will grow out of the water because, of course, it's stagnant. Societal pressure may be why a woman will be going through a lot in her marriage and she would not want to say anything because, for better or worse, right, till death do us part. And then, of course, death happens, and then you and your big mouth, you have the audacity to say, why did she not talk? That's very same you who would have judged her very terribly, very critically if she told you she was leaving her marriage because she was getting abused. Societal pressure is why a woman will continue to stay. It's why a man will continue to stay in an abusive relationship with his spouse, with his, okay, both ways. It could be a man, it could be a woman. Continue to stay in that marriage because you don't want to be labeled as weak. Some men get beaten up by their wives. Yes. So gender-based violence is not one way. It's not just the men beating up their wives. Women beat up their husbands too. Verbally, physically too. They tear them down. They actually get physically violent on the men. But he's there because how would you even say it out loud that your wife is beating you? Who will hear it? But you are there in that emotional limbo because of what society may say. Society may think. A lot of pastors are dealing with a lot, but how will I live when I'm the pastor, when I'm the deacon in the church? What would other people say? The next one is dishonesty and infidelity. Yes, I will change. Oh, men are polygamous by nature. Men were not built to stay with one woman now. All the lies you tell yourself, the cultural legacy that was passed on to you that you should have dropped, that you are now unintentionally passing on to your children. You see, it goes both ways. Your son will take after you, or your daughter will stay with a man who does the same to her because she has seen her mom shut up and take it. You lie a lot. So much so that you are not angry that you hurt her. You are pissed off that she found out. Why will you even go through my phone? Hey man, who did this to you? Are you dead to your conscience? You know you're wrong. Of course you're wrong. Let's extrapolate. Let's take it to the future. Your little girl comes home and she tells you, Daddy, he keeps hurting me. He cheats on me and then he lies about it. I confront him and he beats me up. He tells me he's going to change, but he never does. Daddy, I can't take it anymore. And then you have a gun. Oh shit, bad guy. You have a gun in the house. What will you do to that young man? And then she shows you scars. Scars she told her friends were from hitting her head on the kitchen cabinet or falling down. All of a sudden, you fall down and then it's your eye that is hurt. What would you do to the husband? As a father who loves her daughter. Yes, you do it to somebody else's daughter. Oh, hypocrite. Who bewitched you? Who did this to you? You see, you are doing it and you're so dead to your conscience that she confronts you and, like I said, you are not angry that you are tearing your home apart. You're angry that she found out. Lies. Dishonesty. She will stay. Because how will she say it that the home she spent 20, 30 years of her life building got torn apart because of his side chick? She will stay because how will she confess it that a woman tore her home apart? A woman that is like her, is she better than me, she would say. She will loathe herself. She'll look in the mirror and say, oh, you ugly, little, petty, dirty, naughty woman. A woman like me. A woman like you, to herself in the mirror, has snatched your husband from you. Shame on you. She must be prettier than you are. She must do this. Then she starts to tear her own self down. And then you have a woman, or sometimes a man, that is broken. Raise your children. How will a broken person not break another person? Do you give what you do not have? And then she's there, not because she wants to, not because she cares about you anymore. She's there because, what would people say? What would the society think of me? They would think I have failed. Some men bear as much as they can to the extent to which they try to take their own lives. Some women take it till they cannot anymore. And then they wish that they were dead or go as far as to taking their own lives. And when you hear that they've committed suicide, you judge them. Who bewitched you? Because you would have judged her if she wanted to leave. Society has done so much harm to homes. Society, or the fear of what people will think, has damaged a lot of families. Next one would be unmet expectations. She came into the home. He came into the marriage with so many expectations. I remember a story Apostle Femi Lazarus was telling the other day. I was watching one of his videos and he said the guy probably has bragged a lot to the lady. When we get married with this girl. And then she comes in and their wedding night, below expectation. And then she sees you and she starts to hiss around the house. It may not just be sexual. Maybe other expectations she had. Oh, if I get married, when I do get married to him, he would make sure that I get my master's degree and then pursue my PhD. And then she comes into the home and baby number one comes to make excuses. Baby number two comes from one excuse to another, to yet another. And then she loathes you because she had expectations that you could not meet. It could be financial. She expects that you will take care of her. You would love upon her and dote on her like her father did. She was getting better care from her dad than she is getting from me. And the question is, why did I even leave my father's house, F? What am I even doing here? Unmet expectations can make your wife or husband go into an emotional limbo and remain there without you ever knowing it. Finally, lack of communication. You have besties everywhere. Bestie that you talk about fashion with, bestie that you pray with, bestie that you do this with. Your spouse does not make it to that list. You don't communicate, and then you are surprised she's bringing apple for you to eat. Of course, Adam was busy, and the devil came and whispered in our ears. What were you thinking? Nature does not allow for a vacuum. Communicate. Have difficult conversations. It must not be physical. It must not be one-on-one like you sitting across each other. It can be written too. Thank God for telephones, right? But when you can sit down and have those conversations, yes, it's very possible to have difficult conversations too. That is where learning comes in. Let's move on. What are the consequences of number one, not living up to your potential, or should we say, living below your potential? And number two, the consequence of living in an emotional limbo. Living as the Walking Dead has significant consequences on individuals and their loved ones. There are three on my list. The first one is unfulfilled lives. You are married, you wear anko, and you take all the cute pictures, you do your annual matching PJs bullshit. Uh, I'm sorry, but nobody knows. Nobody knows that you are killing your family privately. Unfulfilled lives. You don't know it. She may have caught up with it. He may have found out. He's just keeping quiet because how can I say it out loud and lose this family I've spent the last 20 years of my life building? Unfulfilled lives. You can be smiling in pictures, wearing matching pajamas, and still not be fulfilled. The next one is strained relationships. There's a strain, there's tension, there's a whole lot of distance. You are in the same house, you live under the same roof, but you are farther apart than people who live in different cities because one of you or both of you are living below their potential or living in an emotional limbo. The next one is generational impact. This is the one that touches me. This is the one that really, really, really irks me. The other time we talked about cultural legacy, generational impact. Your children will internalize these patterns. They will behave the same way, whether they choose to or not. Unless, of course, they notice the pattern and choose to deal with it themselves. You have noticed the pattern. You find yourself doing the things you do not want to, not because you want to, but because you don't know how not to. Yet you are sitting in the stereotype that you don't like to read. You have conformed to the identity of one who does not learn. You are not plagued by the fact that your children can take this from you and then bequeath it to their children tomorrow. What is your legacy? If you see your life from the point of view of passing on the baton, you would know that it is selfish of you to indulge that sexual desire. It's going to be for how long? 30 minutes, an hour? But ask yourself, if my son takes this after me and his son takes it after me, what would be known of my lineage? What would my lineage be known for? Sometimes I'm forced to ask, now that you have decided to be a community property, as a man, let's look at it from there first. Your wife also decides to do the same thing. Would you be happy? Or now that you as a woman has become, of course, everybody's property and your husband follows suit, would you like it? You see, most of the people who even break their homes with infidelity, they are the party that's so protective. You would not want it done to you, yet you consciously walk into doing it yourself. You have seen the pattern. You fell once. Before it became a habit, you did not think to go and seek for help. And then you fall and then accept the fate. After all, my father did it, who am I to break it? This is a time to build a new legacy. This is a time to break that mold, shatter that ceiling, and start afresh. Let it end with you. Do it not because it is easy, but because you do not want your son to fight the demons that you fought to. Do it because if you do not fight it now, ask David and Solomon. We've talked about it on this show too. Do it because your son will fight 10 times more should you choose not to fight it today. Do it so that, like Apostle Lazarus said, because your son will now see it and say, I did not take this from, my father does not do it. Who will I say I took it from? Will you even have the moral compass, the moral right to talk to your son tomorrow or your daughter about something you are currently guilty of? How can you even say it? How can you say it? How? How do you find your way back to life? So far, I feel this is like an altar call, a revival. We don't do this to judge you. We are just flashing a mirror in front of you. What are you not doing well? What are you not doing at all? Can you take note? Take heed. This should be your come to Jesus moment. And then ask for help. This might be that help too. Because we'll talk about finding a way back to life. Now that you are a walking dead, how can you come back to life and truly live instead of existing? If you are getting value so far from this video, please go ahead and share. Bring in your family, your friends and loved ones. There's something here for everyone. So that together we will bring about the change in the society that we desire. So that together we will create a community. We'll spark up a movement where a lot ends with us, so our children will not have to fight the demons that trouble us too. Finding a way back to life. Emotional death is definitely reversible. And the first thing that can help you, I have 5 here. I hope they help. The first thing that can help you is self-reflection. Man, know thyself, and to your own self be true. I cannot tell you the truth as much as you would to your own self. When all else is done, when everybody walks away after each day, the only person who is left with you is you. Examine your conscience. Let this be a self-reflective moment for you. Think about it. What are you currently doing that would stain your white, that will mess up your family? What are you doing? Are you currently even in an emotional limbo because you are living below your potential? Are you currently trapped in that marriage, feeling trapped in that marriage or in that family? Tell yourself the truth. And the next one is open communication. Talk to each other. Their husband, their wife. This is how I have been feeling. Since we got married, I wanted to do this, that, and that. Talk about it. You can pray. Prayer helps a lot. Talk about it so that you would both be on the same page and be able to guide or walk each other through it. Seek support. You are just your computer away from solutions. Now, you don't even physically need to be in the same location with your therapist. There are so many online that you can call, you can consult with. Right now, there's really literally no excuse for you not to seek help. For you not to get help, rather, because it's just one question. How do I get therapy? Or just Google it. Ask questions. Seek support. The next one is pursuing personal passions. It is okay to wait for a while before you start, but putting it off totally now would leave you resentful in the evening of your life. So as much as you can, start pursuing your personal passions. Don't put them on the back burner. Just reduce the heat if you must. Bide your time if you must. And when the time comes, you would now be able to do it full blown. If you wanted to do like 100%, you can start off with 1%, move to 5, then to 10, 20, and then as time goes on, you can get up to your 100. The truth is that your children will not always be babies. They'll get to a stage where they are very, very, very much independent. Teaching is one of my passions. I am doing it right now, not in the traditional way of going to the classrooms to teach, but right here in my sitting room. It's summer. The children are on holidays. They are not here with me. I'm using a part of my house just to do this. I'm starting small. I'm not putting it away for later. I'm starting now with the little or the much that I can do, so that when the time comes, they are a lot more, my kids are a lot more independent. I can do it in the full scale that I would prefer to. instead of just keeping the passion in my heart and saying one day, and loathing the children who did not ask to be born in the first place. Sometimes a thing, a person that is meant to be a blessing can fast become a curse if we do not approach things cautiously and with wisdom. The final one is challenging societal norms. Some of these things that we so rigidly believe in are so obsolete that we do not even remember why they started in the first place. Someone was once asked by the mom, "Why do you make jollof rice this way?" And she answered, "Because I also saw it made this way." Is there any hard and fast rule that something must be done a certain way? If there is none, why don't you question? Like, really challenge that norm and break the mold. Sometimes it's okay to rebel against certain things, Of course, please don't quote me. Social media these days, they know how to get very, should I say, politically correct. No. They'll fish out some aspects that are incriminating, and then that's what will fly. Slap any headline they want to it. I'm not saying rebel against status quo, carry your things and leave that marriage if you have not tried to solve your problems. Neither am I saying go and divorce your husband because people are having issues. Remember, I've talked about self-reflection. We talked about open communication, and we said you should seek support. Please, I am not your marriage counselor, neither am I a marriage advisor. Go and talk to the right people, and with the guidance they are offering you, talk to your church pastor if they offer counseling or guidance concerning marriage. Go talk to the right professional. Don't go and say, "Laurie said I should carry my bags and leave my home." Of course, you are Beacons, you don't do that. You are critical thinkers here. I was just saying that for maybe anybody who was just eavesdropping. The truth is that we can change if we want to. We can change if we make up our mind to. And that's why we're here, to serve as surrogate parents, like I always say, to remind us that we did not learn from our parents does not mean that there's nowhere else to learn. That these conversations are difficult, they are not said elsewhere, does not mean that we won't say them, we won't give voice or language to them. You see, some of these things are paining you, but a lot of them are not said from the pulpit. A lot of them are not said out loud in public, and that's why we're here, to lend our voices, to make sure that together we spark the movement that would birth excellence in parenting. We'll end this episode today with a quote from Benjamin Franklin, and he said, "Some folks die at 25, but they do not get buried until they are 75. That quote hit me. That quote hit me. It highlights the idea that some individuals may lose their vitality or sense of purpose early in life, but continue to live long after that emotional or spiritual death. Your child may actually be emotionally dead right now and still be under your roof. Your husband, your wife may be emotionally dead right now and living under your roof. Don't say, God forbid. Let he that thinketh he stands take heed lest he falls. Once have we spoken. I hope that you have heard us twice and that you begin to set things in motion today that would help you go from merely existing to truly living. Until we meet again in yet another insightful, mind-blowing, revelatory, revival-filled episode of the Larry Brand Podcast. Stay excellent.